Hello and welcome to Diecast Restos. My name is Jason and this is Majorette's 1981 to 1986 number 253 Oldsmobile. It's a replica of the third generation Olds Omega, which was built between 1979 and 1984. This one is in a rotten state with blistered and peeling paintwork, a misaligned hood, while it is dirty in almost every conceivable place. I found this an unusual casting choice by the French manufacturer, seeing as it certainly wasn't sold in Europe. Here is an example in much fresher condition. And this is an Oldsmobile Omega 3rd generation. The original Omega launched in 1973 as Oldsmobile's entry-level offering. It was a badge-engineered version of the Chevrolet Nova until the 3rd generation, but all were based on GM's X platform. Oldsmobile were originally an independent company started by Ransom E. Olds in 1897 as the Olds Motor Vehicle Company. The name Oldsmobile was popularised by the 1905 hit song In My Merry Oldsmobile. Then in 1908, General Motors purchased Oldsmobile and began platform sharing with Buick. As GM grew, Oldsmobile would slot neatly in the middle of their 5-passenger car offering, with Buick and Cadillac their premium brands, and Chevrolet and Pontiac sitting below it. In 1940, Oldsmobile became the first manufacturer to offer a fully automatic transmission called Hydromatic. Then in 1949, the famed Oldsmobile rocket engine was introduced, which used an overhead valve V8 design instead of the flathead straight 8 of the era. This prompted an image campaign through the 50s, with rocket and space race inspired design choices, advertising material and corporate emblems. Entering the 1970s, Old sales began to soar. That decade in the 1980s saw a surge in popularity and critics' reviews. The 70s was of course the era when the Omega launched, alongside sister car the Buick Apollo, also based on the Chevy Nova. The Pontiac Ventura was another based on the X-body platform, but was released in 1971. The Omega had its own unique grille and tail design, and featured uprated trim over the Nova. The original Omega also copied the Nova's interior, but wood grain trim was added to set it apart. The grille featured Oldsmobile's trademark split waterfall design, while body styles mirrored the Chevy. It was available as a 2-door coupe, 3-door hatchback, or 4-door sedan. It either came with Chevrolet's 250 cubic inch inline 6 or the Olds Rocket 350 V8. There were 2 additional trim levels added for 1974 with the Brougham and S options, but it was succeeded by the 1975 2nd generation. This retained the 3 body styles but had 4 levels of trim: the F85 base model, the Omega, Omega SX and the Brougham. The 350 cubic inch V8 remained, while the 250 inline 6 was swapped in favour of the lighter Buick V6 in 1977. While I missed filming the application of the TS30 Silver Leaf base coat, I also missed the pitting evident on the hood and on one side. It wasn't surprising really that it had this pitting, considering the state of the bodywork when I found it. For the 1980 model year, the X platform switched from a rear to a front wheel drive layout. The Chevrolet equivalent was now the Citation, while Buick switched nameplates from the Apollo in the previous generation to the Skylark. Likewise with Pontiac swapping the Ventura for the Phoenix name. While the Chevy and the Pontiac had hatchback body styles, the Omega and the Skylark were available only as 4-door sedans or 2-door coupes. Engine options for the Omega were the 2.5 litre Pontiac Iron Duke 4-cylinder or a new platform-specific 2.8 litre V6. The X-body platform cars were plagued by early issues, including fluid leaks, suspension problems, and most seriously, a government-mandated recall for brake locking issues. Again, this is another reason why I found this casting a surprising choice for Majorette. The X-body was discontinued in 1984, with the Omega replaced by the N-platform Oldsmobile Calais. While sales topped 1 million for Oldsmobile in 1985, they crashed heading into the 90s. There was a resurgence in the mid-90s with the success of the Aurora, but in 2000, GM announced Oldsmobile would be wound down. This was due to a shortfall in sales and low profitability. Oldsmobile finally shut down for good after 106 years in April 2004. Well, that leads me on nicely to Reassembly. I think that the clear blue over silver is a good representation of the colour Majorette used on the casting between 1981 and 1984. It had a year in silver with side tampos in 1985, and then a year in white with Seiko and number 23 tampos. But now my final touch is to reposition the base, where it is attached to the body by the cast-in grille and a solitary post at the rear. Now here's a reminder of how the Oldsmobile looked before I started my repairs. Noticeably, the hood is well out of shape, but nothing a bit of hammering and pliering couldn't fix. The bodywork was in serious need of attention, with some pitting evident beneath what remained of the paint. It has a metal base, so that needed a polish, as did the dusty window piece. This needed a bucket load of TLC, so let's take a look at the new Olds. I tried to be fairly modest in my videos, at least that's how I hope it comes across, but this has to be one of my best, certainly cleanest results, considering how it started. Not only has evidence of any pitting vanished, the pearl clear over clear blue over silver leaf is exceptionally smooth. The washed and polished window set looks miles better, as do the wheels, having received similar treatment. The fix to the hood makes a big difference, with it no longer sitting at a jaunty angle. And the grille looks far better polished, adding more interest to the front. So be sure to subscribe ready for another Majorette release next week. Preview that build on Patreon by clicking the links in the description. As ever, please leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and send me a comment with your thoughts. So all that leaves me to say is thanks for watching, and I'll see you again for the next one. Bye for now.